It's time for this week's episode of Brandon Sports Talk, featuring in-depth interviews from those who are trending in the world of athletics. And now, here's the host of Brandon Sports Talk, Brandon Pate.
Welcome back to Brandon Sports Talk. In today's episode, I have the privilege to interview Appalachian State Basketball assistant coach Patrick Moynihan. How are you doing today?
I'm great. How are you?
I'm doing good. Can you talk about your coaching experience and how you got started in coaching?
Absolutely. Thanks for having me, first off. So coaching has always kind of been in my family. My brother is currently an operations coach at Mississippi State. My older cousin, is currently operations at Jacksonville State. And it all started with my grandfather. My grandfather was the head coach at Davidson, Maryland, James Madison, and Georgia State. Lefty Drizel. He was recently inducted into the Basketball Hall of Fame, which our whole entire family got to go up there and experience that, which was incredible. However, I didn't necessarily get into coaching because of him. He actually kind of steered us away from it our entire lives, all three of us. He always said, hey, go be smart, go make money, go do something other than coaching. And so, besides that, when I finished college, I was actually training to potentially go play overseas. And while I was training, I decided to coach with my old high school coach at Buford High School. Alan Whitehart gave me my first opportunity. And I realized pretty early on that I absolutely loved it. And I also had to make a decision. Do I want to go play or do I want to continue to coach? So I always told myself I wasn't a great basketball player. And so if I was to go play overseas, maybe it was going to be 2 or 3 years. And then I'd be right back where I'm sitting right now, coaching basketball. So I figured, hey, let's take those 2 or 3 years. Let's see where it can take me. And so it has taken me some amazing places, had the opportunity to learn from some incredible coaches. And so that's kind of my story on how I got into coaching.
Can you talk about your playing career?
So I played for Alan Whitehart at Centennial High School. Kind of a late bloomer. I played minimal minutes varsity my junior year. I was cut as a sophomore. I was actually cut as a junior, but I worked my way back onto the team and then played a little bit as well. We went to the state championship where we lost to a Norcross team that had 3 pros on their roster by like 2 points. My senior year, my role picked up. I became a starter, played a lot of minutes on a team that won over 20 games. And then we went to the state tournament, lost to Norcross again, this time in the Elite Eight with a little player named Al-Farouq Aminu. He's a pretty good pro. But then I decided to continue to play in college. I was blessed to have the opportunity to be recruited by schools, and I decided to go to University of North Georgia with my brother. So I played 2 years with my brother up there. My first year I was redshirted. My second year as a freshman, I had a pretty good year. In fact, probably one of the highlights of my career was going to East Tennessee State, playing at East Tennessee State. I only played 13 minutes, but I scored 11 points. And it was the last 13 minutes of the game. So it was a lot of fun. We had an opportunity to win the game. We ended up losing by 3. My sophomore, junior, senior year, just solid. It was nothing special. I loved being around it. I loved being a part of it. I always gave my heart and soul to the game. Wasn't necessarily the best defender in the world, so that probably limited quite a bit of my minutes. But I loved every second of playing, and I learned a lot from the experience, and it's helped me become the coach who I am today.
Can you talk about your experience at Appalachian so far?
So we've been here now going on our second year. We got here last April, and it has been unbelievable. The community, the support, the fans. I mean, it's really, for those who don't know about Appalachian State, to come here and experience a football game to now experience a basketball game, because we won 18 games and we had a lot of momentum going into this year right now. The community, the fans, everything. I mean, they live, breathe, die App State. And it's just been so much fun to be a part of that and be a part of people that just support you and want to see you succeed. It's awesome. And Boone is a special place. If you've never been, definitely find the time to come and visit, whether it be in the winter and come ski or in the summertime where it doesn't get above 80 degrees. I mean, it's just a beautiful place, and you're always just a turn from a beautiful view.
In your 2 seasons at Appalachian, what have you and the rest of the coaching staff accomplished so far?
Well, so we've been here for 1 year coaching wise, and we took over a program that hadn't had a winning season in over 8 years. And so our first year we won 18 games. And so we were going to play in the postseason in the CBI, but due to COVID and the coronavirus, everything was canceled. So it would have been our first postseason appearance in almost 10 years. So in year one, we've definitely taken the program and kind of turned it around and moving it in the right direction. This year so far, we've signed 7 new guys. We've got 6 returners, and we expect to have an improvement on what we did last year. And we're excited to see where it's going.
Can you talk about the recruitment process at Appalachian State?
So the recruiting is it's different everywhere. It's unique in a sense, because you got to target the right kids. You got to make sure you find kids that want to be here, that are going to love Boone, that are about basketball, that are about academics, and that fit us as a coaching staff. So we go through all sorts of lists of kids. We watch tons and tons of kids. Coach says no to a lot, and he says yes to some. And it's our job as assistant coaches to make sure that they're going to be the right fit for us. And so that's our biggest thing is just evaluating the talent, but also evaluating the person. Because if we evaluate the right kid, then he'll be here for 4 years, and he'll love it for 4 years, and he'll have an incredible career here and feel the support and love that the App State community has to offer.
Can you talk about your time at Troy being the grad assistant?
Yeah, so Troy University, I was asked to be the grad assistant. Coach Phil Cunningham was the head coach there, and he's going into year 4. Which was, as most people know, it's a contract year. So if he hadn't won year 4, he might not have had an extension. And he was coming off a 9-win season. I was asked to be a GA. He promised that I would get my master's degree in 1 year. We got that done. But I was lucky to come into a situation where he had a lot of talent on the roster. As a GA, I was always in the gym with the guys. I was responsible for working them out, rebounding, and I was always in the locker room with the guys, just, making sure that they were in the right mind space to compete day in and day out. It was a great experience from my perspective with personal growth, because Coach Cunningham is a super detailed guy. He's a great coach. He understands the game, and I had an amazing, and more importantly, he let me be involved. I was in every staff meeting. I was in every recruiting meeting. I learned so much in that year from him and his staff. I mean, he had a phenomenal staff: Ben Fletcher, Grant, Marcus Grant, Adam Howard. I mean, incredible staff. And so I'm still in touch with those guys every day. They're phenomenal people, and I just learned so much from them. But that season, we ended up winning 22 games. We went to the NCAA tournament, and we played Duke, and we ended up losing to Duke, but it was a tough game. But I will say this: it's my only NCAA tournament experience to this point, and I'm hoping to go back, this year and the next year and the following year. But it's an incredible experience. I absolutely loved it. I'm so thankful for Coach Cunningham for giving me the opportunity, but more importantly, letting me experience um, that environment. I mean, it was unbelievable, and quite frankly, it's like a drug. Once you get there, it's addicting, and all you want to do is get back. And so I work every day. I put my heart and soul into it once so those guys can experience it, because those guys loved it. I remember winning the Sun Belt Championship, and our graduate transfer senior came up and hugged me, and he was in tears. And this is a guy who played on a Florida team who went to the Final Four, and he was in tears. Like it was the best accomplishment of his life. And so to see those guys and the joy in their faces and that celebration, that's what drives me every single day to try and get back there. So these guys that I'm coaching right now can experience that as well.
That's so amazing. What helps you when it comes to when you were at Troy and experience that? What helps you to bring it to Appalachian?
Well, it's, when you experience something like that, it sticks with you for the rest of your life. And so the lessons I learned, the people I was around, it helps me as well to have them as resources. So if I ever need anything, I can always, call them or give them, shoot them a text and try and ask for their advice, because they're amazing. They're awesome people. But when you experience something like that, it's not something you'll ever forget. And you also remember what went into it. And so I try and take that experience and bring it here and remind the guys, or tell the guys what it takes. I know Coach Kearns is an incredible coach. He's been to the tournament twice at Wofford, so he knows what it takes as well. And so we're always just trying to make sure these guys are understanding what it takes to get there.
Can you talk about your time at North Alabama?
So North Alabama was before I was at Troy. I was a graduate assistant there. It was a Division II program at the time. Now they've made the jump to go Division I. They were talking about making the jump when I was there. And North Alabama was again another phenomenal learning experience, because it was Division II. So we had one full-time assistant and we had one graduate assistant. So I was the only other guy on staff to help our assistant and our head coach. I had to figure out everything, whether it was technology, whether it was, a guy in the locker room, working a guy out, sweeping the floor before practice. I mean, there was no job that was too small to be done. And I did it all on a salary that was, I think it was maybe $800 a month. And I never complained, because Coach Champagne was just a great influence. I learned so much from him, but more importantly, I was just really appreciative of the opportunity. He gave me my first opportunity in college basketball, and I'm forever thankful for it. And he, I learned a ton from him as a coach and as a person. He's just a great, well-rounded person, and a great person to work for your first time in this business.
Can you talk about the coaching experience from the Division I level to the Division II level, and what a big jump that is?
Right off the jump, it's just you have more support at the Division I level. Division II, there are great coaches at every level. Division I, Division II, Division III, high school. There are great coaches everywhere. just because you're coaching at a different level doesn't make you any less of a coach. I think just, the resources that go into it are different. The expectations at some places are different. North Alabama had very high expectations. They had won national championships, and so they were expecting to do that. But the resources that go into it come with higher expectations, and I know at the Division I level, you're going in, you're going against higher level athletes, higher level players, night in and night out. Division II, don't get me wrong, there are a ton of really good players. There are a ton of kids that are going to go play professionally and everything, but the depth is probably a little different. I think a Division II starting five can compete with a lot of Division Is, but it's when you start getting into that sixth, seventh, eighth man is where you see a Division II and Division I separate themselves. I've loved the Division I experience. There's nothing like Division I March Madness. And so when I experienced that, I realized, hey, I want to get back there, and I want these guys to continue to experience that. And that's kind of the biggest thing that I've seen that's separated the two.
Can you talk about your playing career at North Georgia?
Yeah, North Georgia was a great time. I had a chance to play with my brother, and we had some seasons that were good seasons, and some seasons that were not as great. My playing career was solid. Nothing to necessarily write home about, but I did learn that I loved coaching while I was playing, because I think I just kind of saw the floor a little differently than others.
What do you plan on accomplishing at Appalachian in the future?
One thing that Coach Kearns always talks about is we're never going to talk about championships. We're going to talk about what it takes to be a champion. So what do we want to accomplish? We want to accomplish something that's never been done here before. We want to take this program to new heights, new levels. We would love to, make this place a lot, take it to a place it's never been, and really just turn this, it's already special, but turn it into something that everybody knows, a name that everybody knows, power that nobody wants to play against.
What advice would you give upcoming high school athletes looking to get recruited to the next level?
Work. Whatever you feel like you're doing now, you can do more. I think every high school kid comes to this level and realizes what they were doing then isn't enough for what they are going to be doing in college. If you work harder than what you are now, you're going to separate yourself. What you're doing now, I promise you, you can do more, and you will be doing more if you have the opportunity to play at the next level. And then listen to your circle. And by that, I mean whoever's close to you, whoever's giving you advice, and don't go outside of it too much. Because if you're a good player, you're going to have a lot of people telling you a lot of things that probably aren't true. Listen to those that are close to you, and always stay humble and hungry.
What advice would you give upcoming basketball coaches looking to get into the collegiate level?
Win where you are. Be the best you can be where you are. If you're always searching for the next job, you're not truly giving everything you have to your current job. And so don't ever feel like you're better than where you're at. I coached high school basketball. I was willing to go back to high school basketball if Coach Champagne didn't offer me the job at North Alabama. I loved it. I've loved everywhere I've been, and everywhere in where I'm at right now. So all I can say is give everything you got where you are, and it'll probably take you where you want to be.
That is great advice. Where can my listeners find you at on social media?
So my Twitter handle is @_Coach Moynihan. My brother took @Coach Moynihan, so I'm the other one. And then my Instagram is let me look this up. I'm really bad. I'm probably one of the worst people on social media. My Instagram is Moynihan114.
Thank you again, Coach Moynihan, for your interview, and best of luck at Appalachian State.
Thank you.
You can find Brandon Sports Talk on Facebook at Brandon Sports Talk, Instagram at Brandon Sports Talk, Twitter at @talk_Brandon, and you can find me on YouTube at Brandon Sports Talk. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Thank you again, Coach Moynihan.
Have a good one, Brandon, and thank you again for having me.
You're welcome.
You've been watching Brandon Sports Talk. Please feel free to like, share, and subscribe to Brandon Sports Talk on social media and on YouTube.